Today, we are diving into one of the biggest questions there is, this search for purpose. It's a journey that has fascinated humans forever, and, it's something that connects every single one of us.
It's the question, right? Why am I here? We've all asked it. Maybe you're staring at the ceiling late at night, or just in a quiet moment. But this is so much more than just a random thought. It's a deep, powerful drive that really shapes our entire lives.
Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist who survived the Holocaust, saw this firsthand. He witnessed something incredible in the concentration camps. He realized that the people who held on to some sense of meaning, a reason to live, maybe a person they had to see again or work they needed to finish, they were the ones who were more likely to survive those absolute horrors. He called it the will to meaning, and he believed it was a force even stronger than our desire for pleasure or power.
All right, so here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we're going to dig into why this question of purpose is just so unavoidable. Then we'll look at two really different paths to finding it. One where you create your own meaning, and another where you discover a higher calling. We'll also check out a middle way, and then, get this, we'll uncover the surprising science behind how having a purpose can literally change your mind and your body.
So, first up, the unavoidable question. The thing is, this hunt for meaning isn't just some philosophical hobby. It's a core psychological need. It's like it's hardwired right into us. Psychologists have kind of boiled this down to three key things. First, there's significance, that feeling that your life actually matters. Then there's purpose, having goals, something that pulls you forward. And finally, coherence, the ability to look at your life story and have it all make sense. Now, when we're missing these things, we can get what Viktor Frankl called existential frustration. That deep, hollow feeling of emptiness, like something's just missing. Okay, so this brings us to our first major fork in the road for finding purpose. Let's call it Path 1. This is the path of radical freedom. It's the idea that you and you alone are the architect of your own meaning. And this right here, this is the core tension we're looking at, the huge difference between creating your purpose and discovering your purpose. Do you build it yourself piece by piece through your own choices, or do you find a path that's already there, waiting for you? Let's dive into that first road, the one of creation.
So, the philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre had this mind-bending phrase, existence precedes essence. It perfectly captures this idea. Basically, we're just born. We show up here without a script or a predefined purpose. It's only through the choices we make, the things we do, the passions we follow, that we actually define who we are. As he famously said, we are condemned to be free. And this is a brilliant way to think about it. A letter opener's entire purpose is figured out before it's even made. Its essence comes first. For us, it's the total opposite. We just exist first, and then we get this massive and, sometimes terrifying job of designing our own meaning.
Albert Camus gives us this incredible image with the myth of Sisyphus. So Sisyphus is cursed by the gods to do this totally meaningless task for all eternity. He pushes a huge boulder up a hill, and just when he gets to the top, it rolls all the way back down. And yet Camus calls him the absurd hero. Why? Because Sisyphus finds his purpose in the struggle itself. He owns his fate. His meaning comes from his passionate, conscious rebellion against a meaningless universe.
But what if that's not the only way? Let's talk about Path 2. This is a completely different viewpoint. It's the belief that purpose isn't something we create at all, but something we discover. It's the idea of a higher calling, a kind of destiny that's just waiting for us to find it.
You see this idea pop up in so many of the world's great spiritual traditions. In Christianity, you've got the concept of a vocation, a unique calling from God. In Islam, it's about aligning with your true, innate nature, your fitra. Hinduism lays out 4 life goals, the Purusharthas, to guide you toward liberation. And in Buddhism, there's the Eightfold Path to end suffering. In every case, the core idea is the same. Purpose isn't something you invent out of thin air, it's a truth you align your life with.
So, we've got these two huge, seemingly opposite paths, create or discover. But do you really have to choose? What if they're not actually enemies? What if there's a third option, a middle way?
This is where the idea of co-creation comes in, and it's a really beautiful bridge between the two. It suggests that we're actually partners with a higher power. We're blending our personal freedom with a divine influence. Think of it like a dance. There's a rhythm to the music, that's the higher calling. But your unique moves and choices, that's your freedom, are what create the actual dance. The philosopher Martin Buber took this even further. He believed meaning is found in dialogue, in a real relationship between us and a higher power. His idea that God needs you is so profound. It suggests our purpose isn't just a set of instructions to follow, but a unique contribution that only we, with our specific lives and our choices, can ever make.
Okay, we've talked philosophy, now let's switch gears and talk science, because the evidence on this is clear and honestly, it's kind of stunning. Living with a sense of purpose, no matter where you get it from, has a massive impact on your actual health and well-being.
Get this, having a strong sense of purpose can literally act like a shield for your brain. Studies have shown that people with purpose have a 2.4 times lower risk of developing Alzheimer's. Researchers think it's because purpose helps build up what they call cognitive reserve, basically a more resilient, flexible brain that can better handle the physical damage of the disease.
And it's not just your brain. A sense of purpose can literally add years to your life. Research found it can cut your risk of death from any cause by almost 50% over a 4-year period. It's an incredible reminder that just having a reason to get out of bed in the morning, a why to live for, can make a huge difference to our physical health. And here's something really important to remember. Our purpose isn't a static thing. It changes as we go through life. When we're young, the big question is all about identity. Who am I? In middle age, it often shifts outward to generativity. What can I contribute? And in our later years, we often look for a sense of integrity, that feeling that our life has been meaningful and whole.
In fact, in our later years, our purpose can shift again into something called gerotranscendence. It's this fascinating idea that we can move beyond the material world and embrace a more cosmic view. We tend to become less focused on ourselves and more connected to the universe, to the people who came before us, and to the few relationships that matter most.
So where does that leave us? What's the big takeaway here? Maybe the truest purpose isn't about choosing between creating and discovering. Maybe it's a dance between the two, a beautiful blend of our own action and a little bit of surrender, of our freedom and our faith.
At the end of the day, the search for purpose isn't a problem to be solved. It's a journey to be lived. It's not about whether you have to create it or discover it. The real question is, how will you choose to live yours?